working class neighborhood. Nowadays, it's not anymore an issue of people working in the mills. There is also very near a sort of a South Bronx of Rome. And so what we are doing, we are planning is to go into the school in the neighborhood to organize, meeting with scientists and with people talking of science, etc. So what is interesting is that we are not going to a reflexive middle class people in the city center, we are going to a place where there is no culture and use and habits of talking of science. And so this is for this reason I was also interested in your comments in Brussels, not because the issue is interesting in general, but also from this very practical aspect of our action plan, because.
Andrea, let's do it like this. I think this was today for the project of yours. I'm really interested in this other point. So if you would like to bring me in contact with this anthropologist, it would be really nice. And maybe we can have another Skype or phone talk later on. And as I said before, I can probably, you will have thought about this then more than I did. To my extent, I did a little bit of things concerning in my city, but my city is very rich, and a little bit Mannheim, which is close by, where we have some, so to say, poorer parts. So it's really interesting, and unfortunately, I cannot speak Italian. I can only read it quite well. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of ideas at the moment I'm doing a little bit of ethnographic research at the moment, but this is focused on very, very middle class Bildungsbürgertum, as we say in German, so educated, highly educated, humanist, middle class. So we are Heidelberg, the oldest university in Germany, and rich and educated and best biology, but also best classical studies, and all this, and this mix. And what I found out is in this ethnographic studies, it was quite interesting that in this Fab Lab where I was doing ethnographic studies, there people show up which came from totally different backgrounds, but they are nerds. And so they showed up, and this showed me, okay, there is a potential to maybe use these kind of do-it-yourself 3D printing, laser cutter, blah, 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 Fab Lab stuff. Maybe use this in quarters like the one around Tor Vergata. So, because maybe there is, I don't want to reproduce cliches like people from these areas, they work with their hands, blah, blah, blah. But obviously, culturally seen and from their families, there is probably, it's more normal for them to use high tech than to read a book, often, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so this could be a way of, no matter, you could have such a place where they have all this fancy high tech stuff, which is pretty interesting, 3D printers and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, there could be books or something. So you know what I mean? So I would even argue, and I will do this now in 2 conferences, and I will also try to get a grant for this. And I also write this now in the conclusions and the policy recommendations for the European Parliament. I don't want to exaggerate the importance of such policy options. But whatever I'm doing at the moment in these areas, I try to say that there could be a mix of research and technology policy and public deliberation on science and technology policy measures, combined maybe with regional development measures in order to support development and innovation in such areas. Because even if it's not only about social justice, it's also about innovation, because in the end, if we want to end up with slums, where people are not productive anymore, this does not make sense at all. So instead of putting even more money into the privileged areas, public money, taxpayers' money, the taxpayers' money should go somewhere else, because industry will nevertheless put all the money into the fancy inner city, urban, high-qualified Berlin center things. This is no problem. We don't need public money there. We need public money in the outskirts of Berlin,
Exactly.
in my point of view. But that's interesting. I did not know that. Where's your university? Which part of Rome is it?
It's southern east part of Rome. You know, it's the university was built there because it was a completely different approach, tradition.
What's the name of the? There's this one large train station, which is but not of the major ones. I think it's in the southeast. What's the name? There's a huge train station. It's a national one or even international one.
No. The one is you are mentioning is Roma 3, the third University of Rome, public university that is near Ostiense station.
No. I mean, there's. I cannot remember. So I think I was in the south. I was always staying in the southeast of Rome near a very huge train station, but not. As train station? No, I don't know.
No, it's close to there is the small airport. Not so close. It's a small airport, and actually the university is very a big university, and it was built with a completely different philosophy compared to the University La Sapienza, that was one of the oldest university of the world. That was completely within the city.
Yeah.
And or at a certain point during fascism time, they built the university citadel outside the city, but then the city grew up around the university again. So they decided to build this new university in the middle of the fields. It looks like some university in Australia. And
see, I opened it, so it's outside Prenestino even. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's in that more or less in that area. And so the fact is that some areas that were very popular grew up, etc., and then there are some the situation is a little bit difficult. So when you go to the school in the municipality around the university, what we are doing, you have to take in mind that you are not going to talk with people whose average income is very high, but you are talking with people whose average income is not so high, etc., etc. It's it's normal when you do something like this to consider these aspects. So this is something that we realized recently, that this is a dimension, also because of my presence there, that I began to consider these aspects.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have something to send me, I would appreciate anyhow. Okay?
Send you for Synergene or
both.
Excuse me?
On Synergene, something that you consider important on what we have been saying so far, and also on this last issues that we have been talking about, the kind of people that is involved.
Yeah. I will think about it. Yes, I will think about it. And now, by the way, I remember where I was always staying. I was staying in Portonaccio, but it's more to the north.
Yeah. Portonaccio, that is actually it's near Tiburtina. Okay.
Yes,
you're right.
But
now,
this
and the University of
you're much more outside there, I see. Yeah? Much really at the border of at the outskirts of Rome. I see. I've just opened it. Okay, yes, I would think about it, and it would be